Hey everyone, this is topic number 3 with Anna Kelly. How you doing, Anna?
I'm better after our talks today, Michael.
Oh, that's good. Me too. So one thing I want to do on episode number 3 with you is you do a couple of wonderful things every year, and I've seen it now for 2 years. You do a word of the year, right?
Yes.
And why don't you remind everybody what the word of the year last year was, what it meant to you to have that, and then let's spring this year's word of the year on them for you.
Awesome. So last year I actually had two, Michael, because I was thinking about both and I thought they're really both kind of concurrent. So I'm going to do them together.
Okay.
The first one was joy. I wanted to make sure that I really focused on everything I do is bringing me joy or I don't need to be doing it. So rather than, early on, you're really incentivized by money. I've got to do the things that are going to bring me enough money to take care of my family and all those things. When you get to a place where thankfully, like us, you've bought rental property, you have that passive income coming in, and your income needs are met, you no longer worry about, I do deals because I have to do deals, or I spend time with partners that I don't like because I have to do it, or whatever it is. So I said, I really want to make sure that everything that I'm focusing on, from my health, with my relationships, spiritually, with my investments, my businesses, that I'm really focusing on doing things in a way that can bring me joy in the action, as well as bring overall joy in the balance of finding balance in making sure that I'm having joy in every area and not just like one area is joyous and the other one's a stress. Okay, so that was one. And the other was abundance. So I really wanted to think about abundance, doing everything in a grand way and seeking the very, very, very best of everything that I do. So it's like living life and living it more abundantly. So those two things really drove every decision that I tried to make. Am I doing a deal that's going to create abundance and wealth for my family and for my investors and for my residents?
Yeah.
Am I doing mediocre deals, or am I doing only deals that are going to be abundantly better than all of the other deals out there that might be mediocre? So there's no mediocrity. It was all about seeking the best use of my time, the best use of my investments, the things that are going to bring me the best of everything, including joy.
Yeah, for me last year, for you, and I saw it, right? I saw the change. And these words of the year mean something to you. I saw joy, right? Because we were talking before the beginning of last year and you were kind of frazzled, right? You were stretched. You were trying to figure out how to be everything to everyone. And I didn't see a lot of joy, right? I saw success, I saw wins, but I didn't see joy. And I saw that change when you put that out there. And I know we talked about it a couple of times. So with that said, what's the word of the year for 2021?
So the word of the year. So I'm still going to keep joy because that's really a theme for me, like a theme for the decade and the rest of my life.
I like it.
But my other, main word is transform this year. I really want to transform. Transformational change is really a radical change. It's a change in the very essence or form or character of something. And so it doesn't mean I'm just going to get a little bit better at this or a little bit better at that. It's really important to me to always think about goals in terms of growth. So I want to grow spiritually. I want to grow in my relationships. I want to grow my portfolio. I want to grow my business. I want to grow stronger in how I operate my business. But to transform goes beyond just being satisfied with some growth in every area that shows balance. And it's to say, I'm going to make the kind of decisions and changes that I really need in those areas and commit to not just a little bit of growth, but transformational growth in each of those areas that I want to have joy in and that I want to live well.
I am going to watch you all year and we're going to talk about it. I love that word for you, transform. On that topic, one of the things that I know we talked a lot about last year that kind of probably didn't go the way either one of us wanted was the health side, right? So you took on something that is going to force transformation. And that is something that's called the 75-day hard challenge.
Yes.
First off, kudos, because that I've seen the challenge. I've known people have done it. It is it's not an easy one. So what did you see in it? What caught your attention? Why'd you sign up for such a crazy challenge?
Sure. So, I'm going to get real transparent here. I'm 46 years old, and in the last really 5 years or so, my body's just changed. We hit middle age, and especially as women, there's a lot of hormonal shifts that happen in your body. In my family, I have a history of diabetes on both sides of my family. And so as people get older, they become diabetic and gain weight hormonally. When you add stress to already kind of a genetic predisposition toward insulin resistance, and then you hit middle age, you can eat well and you still gain a lot of weight. And I could have truly a master's in nutrition. I've studied everything. I've done every diet. I've followed doctors and listened to them, and I've lost a lot of weight. But what happens, Michael, is you lose all the weight and you get out of the severe discipline that you had for 6 months or a year, and you think, I've lost the weight, I can keep it off now by just eating normal. But what I have found is in the last couple of years, especially since I retired, the year 2018, 2019, 2020, is I ate well and I focused on eating well, drinking water, whatnot, but I didn't make the time consistently to exercise.
Yep.
And I stayed up way too late. So when you're talking about being stretched thin, you try to do it all. And when you spend decades of 70, 80 hours a week, it catches up with you. And the only way you do it is you don't sleep enough and you drink a lot of caffeine. So for me, I lived on a lot of caffeine. I wasn't sleeping enough, and diet no longer could control the hormones. And so I've gained a lot of weight. And when I retired in May of 2019, I said, hey, next year, 2020, I'm going to focus on, getting better sleep and working out and getting my health back. In the beginning of 2020, I started that. I started a spin class that I really liked, on the cycling, and I started to lose a little bit of weight. Well, then the pandemic hit, and my one goal that I didn't achieve last year was I made progress in my health and making better decisions and getting to bed earlier, and working less hours, but I still wasn't exercising. And it was the thing I failed at last year. I didn't lose weight. And so the gym closed down. We didn't have a gym. We traveled and stuff over the summer, kids in school, and then fall started. And I think I'm going to start working out again. Well, we moved and, all kinds of issues. It didn't work out. And I knew that I had gained weight and I didn't want to get on the scale. I did not get on the scale last year in 2020 at all because after March. So up till March, I was watching and I'm like, okay, I'm losing weight. This is good. I didn't get on the scale. None of my clothes fit. I can see I'm getting a little chubby and I'm like, okay, this is a wake up call. I really have to do something about my health. And, I'll cut to the chase here in a minute, but a few months ago, maybe August, I ended up having to go into the hospital because I had some signs of a stroke, or a blood clot. I'm sorry, not a stroke, a blood clot. And I went into the hospital and they're like, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. It's got to be stress. And I'm like, I have so much joy right now. I am not stressed. Now, I had a lot on my plate still because the pandemic has just really made us had to do a lot in our business a little bit differently, in the kids' schooling and whatnot. But I realized I've gained weight and I've got to do something about it. I can't wait any longer. I got on the scale and I gained 30 pounds last year. 30 pounds, Michael. I can't believe I gained that much weight because I really was eating pretty well almost all the time. But there's something, again, with middle age and stress and hormones that if you're not active and you're sitting all day, and I'm sitting all day on webinars and on meetings and on calls and at sports stuff, if you're sitting all day, it's not good for your body. So I need a drastic change. And I saw some friends who were doing 75 hard. They're really fit. I can tell that they have stayed fit as a lifestyle. I did until I had kids. And then I've had a year at a time where I've been like all in, hardcore, drop 40 or 50 pounds. And then the next 2 or 3 years, it creeps back up, which is what happens to most of us. If you look at track record, every Biggest Loser, they gained it all back, because you let go of that habit to find balance in other areas instead of being 4 hours a day focused on health and fitness. And I just said, I can't go that hard. I just got to ease into it. Well, what I have found is if I'm not completely disciplined in both everything that goes in my mouth, every exercise that I do, every single day, my body type and my age is fighting against me. And so I have to get motivated enough that I'm going to say, I will conquer this like I've conquered everything else in my life. And my weight has been my one thing that I've struggled with up and down my entire life, as most of my family has. And I just had to do something drastic to make sure that in this next year, I will lose 50 pounds. And if I do less deals or take less coaching students or whatever I have to do to put my health as my number one priority this year, along with, I mean, obviously my children is number one, but my health, I won't have joy. I have to put myself first. And 75 hard is 75 days of really tough. It's 2 45-minute workouts a day.
One outside.
One's supposed to be outside, yes. It is a gallon of water a day. That's hard for me because I live on caffeine and Diet Dr. Pepper. So I'm, and then it's following a diet with no cheat meals, none.
Yep.
And reading 10 minutes a day and taking an actual picture of your body that day.
Yeah.
So, I'm on day 2 and already day 1 was like, I got this. Day 2 was like, I had a contractor show up in the middle of my workout and I'm like, I have to stop. I have a call. I don't have time to shower and get pretty for this call. But you know what? I'm going to work out anyway. I'm going to show up like I need to. So there's always hurdles, but you just got to go through them. And so I'm committed for 75 days and I want to do 75 hard twice in a row.
Nice.
So that by the summer, I've lost as much weight possible. I'm in a healthier weight. It's not about the pounds. It's about getting healthy, right? And then I want to be able to really maintain and make sure that I don't ignore the time block that comes up every morning that says exercise because of all the urgent things I have to do. I'm going to just say, I'm doing it. I'll handle urgent stuff, at another time.
Yeah. So I want to say 2 things. First and foremost, I'm here for you to congratulate you. We'll talk about it every week just so you get more encouragement, right? So congratulations. I know you will dominate this. I think for most people, it's like day 20, day 21 when it kicks in. I think for you, it'll be like day 10. It'll just become the habit for you because you're just wired that way. So you're 10% there, maybe 20% there. So you're almost to a habit. So good luck. I know you're going to kill it. So the last topic for our video is, I told you this was coming last week. I believe you have a book inside you, your story, not a contributor to somebody else's book.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, what can we set as a goal for next week, right? Is it an outline of sections? Is it 3 section titles? We need to break this down into parts so that we can get this book out of you maybe end of this year or early next year. What's an okay goal? I don't want to add too much pressure.
Sure. I thought about this too. And this is always the thing is I've got to put it on paper. So the first thing I did this week is I time blocked 3 hours a week for now to work on this book.
Okay.
And one day during the week and then on the weekend while I'm at all my kids' tournaments that start this weekend. So I'm going to spend my, weekends really focusing on this book. And working on it at least 3 hours a week. I'm hoping I can do more and I always will, but that's like focus time. So my goal for this week and the 3 hours that I set aside is to take off my notebook that has all my thoughts and kind of categorize the main outlines, what the chapter titles will be and what they'll talk about. So
perfect.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to work on for this next week.
So I'll ask you next week, for example, what are 1 or 2 of your chapter titles just to check on you? Is that okay?
Sounds great.
Awesome. Well, Anna, this has been a lot of fun. When's your second workout? What time?
2 o'clock.
There you go. All righty. Take care of yourself. Have a wonderful week.
Thanks. You too, Michael.
Bye.